pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remind you to please silence your electronic devices. Greatly appreciated. Call the Village of Massena Board of Trustees meeting for December 15, 2015 to order. Roll call. Mr. Alhold is excused. Mr. Carville. Here. Mr. O'Shea's.
Here.
Mr. LeBeer.
Here.
And I'm here. I have a proclamation to read. The Village of Massena has a deep sense of gratitude for citizens who make significant contributions to our community by volunteering their time, providing guidance, sharing their wisdom and experience for the betterment of this community and the residents of this community. Martha Slack has been a member of the Joint Recreation Commission for the Town and Village of Massena for 15 years, continuously aiding and making decisions and taking actions to ensure that Town and Village of Massena parks, playgrounds, ice rinks, and other recreational facilities are properly equipped, funded, operated, and maintained. Professionally, Martha's career began as a physical education teacher at Massena Central in 1973. In 1978, she became the Director of Physical Education and Athletics. In addition to that title, as well as Dragon Lady, of course, that's not here, Martha, she was named Assistant Principal in 1997 until her retirement in 2005. She coached various sports throughout her notable career and assisted in orchestrating the rise of girls' sports programs at Massena Central while overseeing the continued success of the boys. Undoubtedly, she has made a positive impact on the lives of countless numbers of students. In addition to the official titles she has earned, Ms. Martha has continually dedicated her time to other efforts throughout our community, not only as a member of the Joint Recreation Commission for the Town and Village of Massena for the past 15 years, but as a member of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, co-chairman of the Capital Campaign Committee for the Boys and Girls Club of Massena, and a member of the Massena Central Sports Hall of Fame, just to name a few. Now, therefore, I, Timmy J. Currier, Mayor of the Village of Massena, do hereby encourage and request that the citizens of Massena join me in recognizing Martha Slack for her lifelong dedication and remarkable contributions toward the betterment of the community. Mrs. Slack, I'd love to issue this proclamation to you. I had the honor of working for Martha as a JV basketball coach, and after about 2 years I was scared to death of her, but I realized that she wasn't as mean as she acts. So, Martha, congratulations, we appreciate it.
Once a Raider, always a Raider, right, Martha?
Motion carries. Entertain a motion for the approval of the November 17, 2015 minutes. Mr. LeBeer. Second, Mr. Carter. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Reports of officers and committees. Treasurer's report. Ms. Charlotte.
You have been provided with the balance sheet and revenue and expense actual budget comparison reports for the month of November. A summary of our 5 major funds is listed on the report. Year-end projection spreadsheets for those same funds have been updated with actual figures through the month of November. Spreadsheets have been distributed to board members as well as department managers. Our auditors, Safeguard and Safeguard CPAs, have completed the in-house portion of their field work and both internal controls and financial portions of our audit. They completed that this past Friday. They expect to have a draft of their report to us by mid-January and plan to have the final report completed by our January 19th board meeting. Health insurance rates with Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield will increase 6.3% for the 2016 calendar year, as compared to the 11% increase that we saw during this current calendar year. Based on current enrollment, this would be an increase of approximately $135,988 in the coming year. Prescription coverage for employees, retirees, and/or their spouses age 65 and over will increase 14% as compared to 29% this current year. for a projected annual increase of $15,562. Medicare supplement for employees, retirees, and or spouses in the same age group will increase approximately 4.8% as compared to 2.8% this current year, for a projected annual increase of $5,406. We have no action items this evening.
Questions for Ms. Rowe? Thank you. Code enforcement report, Mr. Carville, Mr. Revere.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Dumpy.
No, Mayor.
Economic Development Committee, Mr. Otto, Ms. Revere.
A PDC meeting tomorrow. I will update the board if there's anything that comes out of that.
Fire Committee, Mr. Carville, Mr. Revere.
We've been meeting over the annual contract and then hiring for later on in the new business.
Personnel Committee, Mr. Carville, Mr. Shays.
Herb met last week for
Interview.
We'll interview the chief of the police.
Good. Police Committee, Mr. Carville, Mr. Shays.
items later in the agenda, new business. And also, I'd just like to congratulate the police with the drug bust that went down. Got some more of the city folks out of this area, and hopefully it'll last longer than it did the last time, and they took down the big boys. But congratulations. Thank you.
Chief Gunny.
I want to recognize the department for the hard work they put in that case. It was a substantial bust that resulted in 6 local federal indictments, but 54 statewide local indictments. I'm not going to get into details of all the people that were indicted, but not very nice people. I want to thank the board for the cooperation they gave us for that investigation.
Recreation Commission, Mr. Shays.
Condenser was replaced at the arena, and it was installed, rebuilt, and replaced, and at the cost of $13,750 plus the hookup by Goodrich Electrician. At Town Beach, rubber mulch has been replacing the wooden chips that they had out there. And that was all taken care of, paid by the power authority. The playground grants, Mike said, look for letters for support, we gotta get for grants. And as of today, he hasn't received one. Somebody wanna take a write a note, say what we need, how this playground means to us, he would appreciate it. But rubber mulch is 10 inches deep, which is supposed to be a really good factory. And what they had some left over, and they took it up to the park at Whalen Park up in Louisville. There's going to be a Mike Jamboree tournament, February the 6th at the arena. There's 26 teams, 24 teams already entered. And the boys hockey team's got a game against St. Lawrence Central on the 23rd of December. The graduation ceremony is moving back from the school back to the arena, June 5th, 2016. There was an alcohol rally that was held over the past weekend. It started at the high school and ended up at the arena. There was quite a crowd there, a lot of the unions represented. The Massena Cup, there'll be 3-on-3 tournament, the outside hockey, and it's on January 15, 16. And it was brought up that they're trying to initiate family swim at the high school again, especially during the winter months. It was going for a while, and they dropped off, and now they're trying to see if they can get interest in it, which is a nice setup, especially in the winter time. There's nothing much to do. You can go down, take the family down and have a swim for nominal fee. That's just about all I've got for now.
Thank you. Street Committee, Mr. LeBear.
We have a discussion item later on related to streets.
Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. LeBear.
Item later on.
Initial public comment period. As always, ask you to please stand and state your name and address for the record.
I've been doing a little investigating. bills were sent out in November, approximately 400 bills were lost by the U.S. Postal Service. I went to talk to the postmaster, and he said, I said around 400, and he kind of said yes. So, unbeknownst to 400 of your customers, we got these delivered to us on, I believe, I'm gonna guess, the 9th of December, 8th or 9th of December. I mean, I saw the yellow thing on the front, but I knew it was a water bill. I figured 30 days, no big deal. I said, what knows? So on Friday the 11th, I opened this up. Lo and behold, it's past due. And now I owe $11.28 more. So I came down to the water department. And I think the mayor was in his office, he probably heard me.
I did.
I apologize for raising my voice to Lisa, but I guess what upset me was, her comment to me was that I should have known that this bill was due, which I can't believe anybody knows when their water bills are due. It was my responsibility to know when this is due. I know it's due when it comes in the mail. There's 400, if there's 400 people, I use the minimum. So the village has got a windfall of about $4,500 coming to them. And then she tells me that not even the village board can forgive these late fees. If that's true, then I would ask this village board to make a change in the law. Because this could happen again. From my description of what happened, they went to Syracuse, and somehow in Syracuse they got sent over to the department in Kingston, and they sat for 3 weeks in Kingston, New York. And then somebody discovered it. The other thing that bothers me is, he told me he contacted the village, somebody, as soon as he was aware of this, which I'm assuming was either Monday or Tuesday. Why wasn't something put in the newspaper or the radio or something to tell people, hey, they lost the bills, you gotta get them paid by Thursday, or you're gonna have to pay the late fee. I guess that bothers me too, after I discovered that. And he offered to write a letter, and he was told the same thing. Well, never mind, you don't need the letter because people are gonna have to pay the late fee no matter what. I just don't think that's right. I paid it, because you don't pay the late fee, you put it on my taxes, I gotta pay the taxes in January anyway, so it's the difference. I will pay it. And I'll apologize for raising my voice in public too. But I'm kind of an emotional guy, and I was not happy with what I was told. And I just don't think this is fair. I don't think it's fair. I saw a text message from a single mother who texted someone, and her water bill was $140-some. You put the 10% fee on there, so she's going to pay an additional $14 at Christmas time. A single mother working at a minimum wage job, and her little text to the person, she said, "Isn't this nice? Instead of a present from my child, I give the village a present." That's what she said in her text. I don't know what you guys can do, but I think something needs to be done. And if nothing can be done about this because your hands are tied, then I implore you to change the law. Because this could happen again. There's no question about this could happen again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCullough. I do have some comments on that, but first I want to just see if anyone else has comments regarding the water bill. So before I respond to that, and then we're still going to continue with public comment. I just want to make sure if anybody has something to say before I respond.
Other than myself, this is actually news to me, so apparently I'm going to be accruing a late fee as well.
It's only the November.
So,
It's only a portion of the village.
November 13th, I believe.
So I was notified last week by the postmaster the day before the bills were due. So any notification would not have worked. It affects 361 people. I agree with everything that you said, Mr. McCullough. I absolutely agree with you. So when I was notified of other, I spoke to staff. We looked at, I was provided a copy of our local ordinance. And I do have a letter, by the way, that I received today from the postmaster outlining what had occurred with that, and I'll just kind of summarize this. Essentially, your description was relatively accurate. Those 361 bills approximately went to Kingston, New York, and sat there for several weeks. When it was discovered, they came back here, and then they were immediately delivered. Chapter 290 of the Village Code specifically outlines, and this is 290:16, subdivision D, failure to receive a bill, either monthly, bi-monthly, every 2 months, or quarterly, does not entitle any customer owner to avoid the penalty as hereinafter prescribed. The Village of Massena does not guarantee billing or delivery of bills to any customer or owner. This local law, that particular section, was amended back in 2003. We then went to the village law, which we refer to for particular rulings that come most notably from the State Comptroller's Office. In other words, case law, so that we can see if there's something in there that gives us room to move on something like this. Under Chapter 11, Section 1118, so it's 11-1118, paragraph 20, where a village property owner has failed to receive his water bill in a timely manner, he is still responsible for the payment of his water rents and any late penalty charges unless the local enactment, which established the rates, excused the taxpayer from paying penalties and was in effect prior to the taxpayer's failure to make a timely payment, and that's the State Comptroller. The example that was provided to me would be, let's say we were putting new software in, and next month we anticipated that we couldn't issue bills. If the village anticipated that, we could take board action to waive those fees for that particular month. I then sent the information on to our own attorney, our village attorney, basically asking him to find a way that we could deal with this. And I'm going to read verbatim his response to me. I've reviewed the New York law as it relates to your below email. Unfortunately, the law does not allow the village to waive any late fees. This is true even though the property owner had no responsibility for the billing mistake as it was the post office. The Comptroller's decision reverted the case and notes the village law section, as I stated, that the property owner who fails to get their bills in a timely manner must pay the late fees unless the local law established the water rates excuse the property owner from paying the fees. The village local law in this case does not excuse paying the late fees. In fact, it says the opposite. It provides fair receipt of the bill, does not entitle any consumer or owner to avoid the penalty. I agree with everything you said. If there was a way for us to waive this, we would do that. I just don't know how we do that. And to speak to the fact that we change the law, I'm in favor of changing the law if we can do it in a way that doesn't create issues down the road for people coming in and say, I don't know how we distinguish. In this case, it's easy. We know there's some evidence that says 361 people approximately didn't get their bills. How do we know that any particular person didn't get their bill and whose fault it was? But I saw you had your hand up, so.
Well, I agree with that, Tim. But if someone walks in the office with this yellow tag on it, it tells you that U.S. Post, and my understanding is that, because I talked to my local deliverer, and obviously for security reasons, so he couldn't tell me exactly how many of mine are route, but he said he delivered several of these in my area. That would be our backups. And my understanding, the postmaster told every one of his deliverers, make sure you don't remove these. Because sometimes I guess these can get removed, and then I guess come off. That's why I didn't take mine off. I know Lisa well enough to know that I'm sure she knew exactly what she was talking about. I mean, I was on the board when we hired her for that job, so I guess my last statement is, it's these kinds of things that turn people off about government, is why Donald Trump is so popular, and why so many people hate government. It's because when this happens, there's so many people nothing can be done. And, you know, I hear all kinds of people around town say, oh, they'll do something. And I said, I don't think they can do anything. But I had to come say, have my piece. And again, I want to publicly apologize for raising my voice the other day, Lisa. I think she knows me well enough to know that I didn't mean anything personal by it. I told her she's just the party in front of me. If it had been you, I probably would have been just as loud, if not louder. But
So, Mr. Mayor, Mr. McCollum, if you'd like, could definitely do some research into if there's existing code out there, existing law out there that allows for refunds on verifiable mailing issues. We can't be the first municipality to come into this. So I don't know what I'll find, but to your point of if there is a way that we can change this provision without overcorrecting and causing more problems, to your point, gladly look out there, see what there is, and if there's something to pursue, to bring it back to the rest of Mr. Carville and code and to the whole board if it's something that looks like moving forward.
that's all you can ask for.
I certainly do offer my apologies. I wish,
It's not your fault.
I mean, I wish we could do something. I kind of have a motto, which is find a way to say yes if we can do it ethically and legally. And in this case, we exhausted the resources that our legal people tell us. Opening for further public comment. Seeing no hands, moving on to old business. Discussion in yellow, that's one of the first awards this year, not RDC related, but that's where the 1 gig internet is going, Village and out to the mall. So it'll show you where high-speed internet upload and download is going. The 2 bottom maps show the Water Street map. So very quickly to update you on this, through the Consolidated Funding Award, we were awarded this project last week when it was announced. So it provides for the construction of a pavilion, restrooms, parking lot, a trail leading easterly along the Grass River, and a dock down there. So we've been talking a lot about the fact that Massena has 3 rivers. This is a 3-river community, and we need to rebrand ourselves. So this project will allow us to provide some infrastructure and amenities along the Grass River and near those rivers to enhance our opportunities to diversify the economy. And it certainly provides a connection now to the water in the downtown corridor. So I appreciate the work, particularly by Superintendent Bayard and our engineer, Castanet, who did a lot of work on this, preparing it for the strategic development team to bring this application to a successful work. So, maps are over there, and certainly I'm willing to share information with anybody should be looking for that. New business, proposed resolution, annual appointments. Would you like to take the appointments individually or as a whole? As a whole?
I don't see if anybody's got any opposition.
All right, so moved by Mr. Carville, take them as a whole.
Second.
Second by Mr. Levere. Discussion. All those in favor, signify, I'm sorry, individually. Mr. Carville. Mr. Shays.
Aye.
Mr. Levere.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Proposed resolution designated the banks for deposit as Key Bank, First Niagara, Community Bank, NBT Bank, and Columbus Bank and Trust.
So moved.
Mr. Carville, second by Mr. Shays. Discussion. Resolution. Mr. Carville.
Aye.
Mr. Shays.
Aye.
Mr. Levere.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution carries. Proposed resolution to authorize agreement with Reach Out of St. Lawrence County Incorporated for Employees Assistance Program Services during 2016. Mr. Carville.
Second.
Mr. Levere. Discussion. Poll individually. Mr. Carville.
Aye.
Mr. Shays.
Aye.
Mr. Levere.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Proposed resolution to authorize a 1-month extension for agreement with Massena Fire Department, Inc. for the fire protection agreement. As you know, we were in discussions with the volunteer fire department, so some of the issues have not been worked out. My understanding, we're pretty close, so the best thing given the holidays was to, and the chief, Chief Longics here, they agreed to extend it for a month to give us time to close this up and reach the new agreement.
So, second.
Mr. Carville, Mr. Levere, discussion. Poll individually. Mr. Carville.
Aye.
Mr. Shays.
Aye.
Mr. Levere.
Aye.
Resolution carries. Discussion New York State Department of Transportation Complete Streets Policy. Trustee LeBeer and I met last week with Karen Page from St. Louis County Health Initiatives regarding complete street policy. I'm going to read the general description of that. A complete street is a roadway planned and designed to consider the safe, convenient access and mobility of all roadway users of all ages and abilities. This includes pedestrians, bicyclists, public transportation riders, and motorists. It includes children, the elderly, and persons with disabilities. Complete street roadway design features include sidewalks, lane striping, bicycle lanes, paved shoulders that are suitable for the use by bicyclists, signage, crosswalks, pedestrian control signs, bus pullouts, curb cuts, raised crosswalks, ramps, and traffic calming measures. This discussion was a result of the discussions that are ongoing in School Street and our desire to solve the pedestrian danger issues down there. So, if you wanted to add anything to that.
Yeah, it's an interesting program, has quite a bit of value in my opinion, and there's a lot of different ways that municipalities can approach it. I would recommend as discussions move forward that you take a look at some of the other villages and towns that have really taken on this program. Potsdam, Ogdensburg, Malone, all have complete streets policies, and you'll notice quite a variation between them. So it's not a package deal in terms of you have to do it this way, or don't do it at all. It's just an approach that we could look at that would not only give us perspective when we're planning to make sure that we're planning all aspects of a street and doing a project, but it also opens up some potential funding sources and changes. The state takes different actions if you have a complete street policy versus if you don't when they're doing a project within your municipality. So there's some advantages there that might be worthwhile of us pursuing this policy above and beyond even just safety, which is obviously the #1 goal of it. If anyone is not web savvy and wants a copy of the policies for any particular municipality, let me know and I'm glad to get you a copy of what they do.
That could be an awful problem down there, even just coming off School Street, even coming off the 4-lane highway, make a right-hand turn there. We got those curves down through there, I think something's got to be done, and if we can get help to do it, get sidewalks on there, get crossing lanes down there, even though you have a guard at the 4-lane highway, you got buses down there, it's very congested.
And complete streets goes beyond even just School Street. You look, for instance, in Potsdam, they just did some major bridge reconstruction. The sidewalks and the lanes that they have on that bridge, or those bridges, are a little different than originally spec'd, and it's because they have complete streets policy. So it was actually quite advantageous when the state realized you have a complete streets policy. Well, that means we have to do it to this spec instead, which was even better for safety of pedestrians, drivers, bicyclists. So that's the main benefit of it. But certainly we want to make sure that we approach it in a way that's going to make the most of the advantages, but not tie our hands or restrict us in some other areas. So we want to make sure that we get the right policy if we move forward for massena. That's why I think it's important to look at the various policies that are out there existing, because it's not a cookie cutter program. We want something that's going to be right for massena.
So we'll bring further information to you, which I would assume, unless we hear objections, that there will be some form of comment, form of resolution for local law to adopt this. Appointment part-time non-competitive police officers for court officer. Chief?
I'd like to ask for appointments for 3 individuals for part-time court officers. We currently only have 2. One of them is expected to resign this week as he takes over being judge at the beginning of the year. even with two, we still run into days where it's impossible to cover the court, so my recommendation then to the board, I would hire three and possibly even a few more in the future. Just so we do have guarantee that there will be coverage for the court.
So this is not additional coverage, this is just to, this is a budget item, so it's a non-cost item.
Jeez. How would it be, I mean, currently we have two, replacing that with three individuals, how do you determine who will get called to take a session for? Is there some type of guidelines?
Mike Olson is the main officer, and the other one just rotating and rotating. Thing that they'll be asked and they can deny it. They can say we don't want that day, whatever. They'll just keep working.
Okay.
These are appointments, so we're gonna take them individually, so I entertain a motion for Scott Rogers, 189 South Raptor Road. Mr. Carl, Mr. Deshays, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bradley Frank, 13 Chase Street.
Second.
Mr. Revere, Mr. Deshays, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ed Clary, 40 Jones Road, Lisbon. Mr. Revere. Second by Mr. Carter. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We have the retirement of the Chief of Police. I'll read his letter. This letter is to formally inform you that I am retiring January 16, 2016. I write this with a heavy heart, and I'm truly honored to have served the village of Massena citizens as a police officer. I'm very thankful for the trust you have put in me over the years, allowing me to move up the ranks to become the Chief of Police. This is both a happy and sad day as I submit to you this letter, and I will continue to assist the citizens of the community in other ways in the coming years. Mr. Carlin. Mr. Revere. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chief, thank you for your service. 16.
So moved.
Mr. Revere, second by Mr. Carl. Discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Voucher warrants.
I move the voucher signed by trustee Carl and myself be approved.
Second by Mr. Carl. Discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On the table over there. Communications and correspondence.
I did have one lengthy phone call from a resident, very productive phone call regarding the School Street issue. Just additional input that I certainly will bring forward to the rest of the street committee and unofficial committee we have going in the other departments.
Any other correspondence? Closing public comment period.
Is there a timetable for picking a new chief? I see Adam here is interim chief of police. Do you expect to, when do you expect to?
There currently is not a valid civil service list for our department. The new test is scheduled for March 5th, 2016. So then at some point, certification of eligibles will be issued by county personnel, and then we would proceed.
And what was that date, March 5th?
March 5, 2016.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I do need an executive session both for contractual, collective bargaining, and personnel issues. I do not expect that we will take public action.
Tim, just one more thing.
Sure.
That I neglected to mention in my report. I'd like to request that we hold a special board meeting on Tuesday, January 5th, for the purpose of approving only one board meeting in January. That would give us a 5-week time frame before bills could be paid. Tuesday, January 5th. It's the first Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, January 5th. It would be a special board meeting. I am not available this evening.
I can do it.
enter into executive session.
So moved.
Mr. Bader, second by Mr. Deshaies. Discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carried.
You wanna have that meeting together like
What's that?
Hey, John.
Hey, Martha, okay.
Is that what for you guys?
See here.